The planet Varelia was lush, humid, and full of teeth. Thick vines hung like living ropes from towering purple-barked trees. The air shimmered under two bright suns that scorched the emerald plains by day. Small winged lizards scattered at the thunderous sound of something massive rushing through the underbrush, and running for her life was Aria. Her silver skin glistened with exertion. Her lavender eyes widened in terror as she sprinted across the moss-covered valley. Behind her, the brutal roars of grass boars shook the ground. Not ordinary boars. These were monstrous creatures with armored snouts, tusks like jagged swords, and a hunger for anything soft enough to devour. Aria could feel them closing in. Her leg was bleeding, slashed earlier by a thorned stalk while escaping the crash of her shuttle. Smoke still spilled from the wrecked craft far behind. She had hoped to signal her people. Instead, she had drawn monsters. One boar lunged. Aria stumbled, rolled, scrambled upright again. Her hands trembled. She tried to activate her wrist beacon, but it sparked and died. "No, please," she gasped in her native tongue, voice trembling. A boar bellowed and charged again, its tusks aimed at her ribs. Aria shut her eyes. A deafening blast tore through the valley. Boom! The boar collapsed mid-charge, half of its head missing. Aria froze in shock. Her ears rang from the sound. Slowly she turned. A figure stepped out of a metallic camo cloak, a human. He held a bulky plasma rifle that hummed with dying energy coils. His rugged face was smeared with camouflage grease, and his dark hair stuck to his forehead. A deep scar cut across his left cheek, yet his blue eyes were surprisingly warm. "You all right?" he called out. Aria stared, confused, terrified. She had never seen a human up close. Stories told by her people described them as unpredictable, stubborn warriors, helpful allies on good days and dangerous beasts on bad ones. But right now, he looked like salvation. Before she could answer, two more boars burst from the brush. Tusks lowered. He barely flinched. His rifle hissed. 2 shots. 2 kills. Silence returned to the forest, except for Aria's ragged breathing. He approached slowly, lowering his weapon. Hey. "Easy," he said. "I won't hurt you." She stepped back, legs shaking. The pain in her calf finally overwhelmed her. She collapsed to one knee with a cry. He instantly holstered his weapon and knelt. "You're hurt," Aria nodded weakly. He removed a compact med kit from his belt and spoke while working. "My name's Elias Kane, explorer, salvager, mostly just a guy who hates leaving people to die." She blinked at him, struggling to form her words. I am Aria, of House Varys. "We crashed. I was separated." Her accent was melodic, unfamiliar. Elias slowed, noticing the shimmering crystalline marking on her collarbone. A noble house insignia. Great, he thought. I just rescued space royalty. Still, a life was a life. "Well, Aria, House Varys, you're safe now," he promised with a crooked smile. "Let's get you patched up and out of this hellhole." Escape plan. Elias wrapped her wound with a portable region bandage. Aria winced but didn't resist. "Can you walk?" he asked. She tried, stumbled. He caught her. His arm was solid, warm. She felt strangely safe. "My cruiser is about 3 clicks that way," he said, pointing toward the distant ridge. "We reach it before the sunset. We survive. If not..." He glanced at the surrounding foliage bristling with noises. She nodded quickly. "I will keep up." She didn't. Twice more she fell, and twice Elias caught her without complaint. Eventually, he lifted her into his arms. "I apologize," she whispered, cheeks glowing faintly blue, a blush of her species. He shrugged with a smile. "Don't apologize for needing help." Aria stared up at him, studying his face, weathered but kind. She wondered how one human could feel more trustworthy than members of her own court. Too close to death, they reached a river. The water glittered with dangerous beauty. "We need to cross," Elias said. A low rumble answered. Aria tensed. "Boars, stay behind me," Elias commanded, raising his rifle. 3 massive shapes charged from the tree line. Elias fired. One fell. Another leapt. Knocking the gun from his grip, the third lunged for Aria. She screamed. Elias ran, bare-handed. He tackled the beast, wrestling 300 kilos of fury. The boar threw him aside like a toy, tusk grazing his ribs. Blood stained his shirt. Still, he stood. The boar lunged again. Elias pulled his combat knife and swung wide. The blade sliced the beast's throat. It collapsed. The last one turned to run, and Aria, adrenaline surging, grabbed Elias's fallen plasma rifle. Her hand shook, but she fired. The boar dropped instantly. Silence. Elias exhaled shakily. Not bad for a first-timer. Aria lowered the rifle, surprised at her own courage. Her breathing steadied only when Elias's hand brushed her shoulder to reassure her. She had been helpless moments ago. Now she had helped save him. Humans were contagiously fearless. The human cruiser. Nomad's refuge night fell fast. Alien constellations glittered. They reached a rocky ledge, and suddenly, a sleek, matted black ship emerged from camo mode. Elias tapped his wrist pad. The ramp lowered, bathing them in soft blue light. "Welcome aboard the Nomad's refuge," he said proudly, helping her up the ramp. Inside was surprisingly homey. Survival gear, warm lighting. An old hollow photo of a woman and child on the console. Aria gazed at it. "Your family?" Elias's jaw tightened. "My wife, Lena, and our little girl, Mara." His voice softened painfully. "They were taken. Pirates, 2 years ago. Haven't found them yet." Aria's expression dimmed with empathy. "I am sorry." He forced a half smile. "Life knocks you down. You get back up." She admired that. Humans were unbreakable. He gestured toward a padded med chair. "Let me finish treating your leg." As he worked, their eyes met. Long, quiet moments stretching between them. "You risked everything for me today," Aria murmured. "Why?" Elias looked puzzled. "Because you needed help. But I am no one to you. You're someone to yourself," he replied simply. "That's enough." Her heart fluttered. Unfamiliar warmth. Her people valued power, wealth, politics. Humans valued people. Aria's truth. When her wound was sealed, Elias guided her to a small cabin. She hesitated at the doorway, then spoke. "My house. They call me a disappointment. I never mastered telekinesis like my sisters. I am considered lesser." Elias snorted. "Sounds like they're idiots." She blinked, stunned. He added gently, "You faced death 3 times today, and you're still here. That makes you tougher than half the nobles in the galaxy." Aria felt something unexpected. Pride. He turned to leave, but paused. "For what it's worth. I'm glad I found you." He stepped away and leaving her heart racing. The morning after Aria awoke to the scent of something savory. Elias was cooking, actual food. Not ration packs, she smiled without realizing. "You cook? I try." "Breakfast makes the universe less terrible." She sat beside him at the small table. "What happens now?" she asked. Elias leaned back thoughtfully. "We launch. I'll run a long-range scan for your people's distress beacon. We'll get you home." Her heart sank. She told herself she should be relieved, but she wasn't. "What about you?" she asked. He shrugged. "Keep looking for my family. Keep surviving." Aria hesitated, then gently touched his hand. "You saved my life, Elias Kane. House Varus honors its debts. If you would allow, I will help you find them." His breath caught. "I can't ask you to." "You did not ask. I offer." He held her gaze, something new forming silently between them. Respect, connection, hope. "Then we help each other," he said quietly. She nodded. Liftoff Elias powered the engines. The cruiser rumbled to life. Aria watched the planet below shrink into the void. She felt her fear fade, replaced by possibility. Maybe being lesser didn't make her weak. Maybe humans saw strength where others saw flaws. Maybe one human in particular. The stars reflected in her lavender eyes as she turned to Elias. "Thank you for everything," he smiled, genuine, warm. "Stick with me, Aria. The galaxy's a big place, but we'll take it on together." And as the Nomad's refuge leapt into hyperspace, Aria realized something. Being rescued was only the beginning. Elias hadn't just saved her life. He had given her a reason to live it. The ship hummed with steady life as it cut through the void. The stars outside smeared into silver streaks, hyperspace in motion. Aria stood near the observation window, hands resting lightly on the cool glass-like surface. Her reflection stared back, silver skin dimmed by exhaustion, lavender eyes swirling with questions. She had left her home behind. Her status, her house, but for the first time, She didn't feel trapped. Elias's footsteps approached from behind. She didn't need to turn. She already knew his stride. Navigation scans running, he said, stopping beside her. We should detect your people's distress signal if it's still active. Aria nodded, but her voice was distant. If they are searching for me, he frowned. Aria, someone out there cares. They have to. Her throat tightened. He didn't understand, or maybe he understood more than most ever had. My family is powerful, she said softly. But to them, I am defective. A flawed daughter brings shame. Easier to mourn a tragedy than face an embarrassment. Elias leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Well, then they're fools, he said flatly. Anyone who can't see your worth doesn't deserve to have you. She turned to him, surprised. You speak of worth like you can see mine. He met her eyes. I saw it the moment you picked up that rifle. Her cheeks flushed faintly blue, her species blush betraying her. A sudden alert, a sharp beeping erupted from the console. Elias immediately moved to the captain's chair. Distress beacon detected, he said, eyebrows drawing together. But the signal's weak, scrambled. Aria rushed beside him. Location? He ran calculations. Small hollow projection glowing above the console. A drifting ship. This region's crawling with scavengers. Could be a trap. Aria's heartbeat quickened. It's from my people, she insisted. We must go. Elias considered, eyes narrowing. There was risk. Maybe too much. But the look on her face, hopeful, terrified, made his decision easy. Strap in, he said, flipping the thrusters. We're going. Wreckage in the dark. The Nomad's refuge dropped from hyperspace with a low rumble. Outside, a battlefield's graveyard. Shattered hulls. Burned out escape pods. Debris tumbling through cold void like gravestones of forgotten lives. In the middle, a disabled Varisian corvette, violet plating scorched black. It's my escort ship, Aria whispered. But where is the crew? No transponder IDs, Elias said. And, wait. He zoomed the scanner. A second signal pulsed behind the wreck. A larger mass, a pirate dreadnought, Aria's breath stilled, and on the hull of the dreadnought, a symbol Elias recognized instantly. Jagged skull. Mark of the Crimson Maw. His fingers tightened on the console until his knuckles whitened. These bastards, he growled. They took my family. Aria looked at him. The fire in his voice was new, raw, personal. Elias, she whispered. He shook off the memory and focused. There's a life sign on the Corvette. Weak but alive. Aria's heart jolted. We must save them. And get the hell out before the Maw notices. Elias agreed. He steered toward the crippled Varisian ship, engines on silent mode. The Nomad's refuge docked with a soft clamp. Elias handed Aria a wrist-mounted light. Stay behind me. If anything moves, warn me, she nodded firmly. Ghost ship interior lights flickered weakly. The corridor was warped from weapon fire. The smell of burned metal and ozone clung to the stale air. Aria's voice trembled despite her attempts at strength. My escort. They fought to protect me. And we'll make sure their deaths aren't wasted, Elias replied. They crossed a bulkhead and froze. A body slumped against the wall. Aria knelt, tears gathering. Lieutenant Varos, she whispered. Elias checked pulses. Nothing. A sudden cough echoed from deeper inside. A survivor. They hurried toward the sound, reaching a sealed door. Elias forced it open with a manual override. Inside, a woman in Varisian armor clutched her stomach wound, barely conscious. Aria gasped. Captain Ryla! The captain's dim eyes widened when she recognized Aria. My lady, she rasped. We feared you dead. Elias knelt and activated a healing stim. The captain's breathing steadied. The pirates, Captain Ryla said weakly. They waited. Ambush. They wanted someone from House Varus. They wanted you. Aria's blood chilled. Elias asked sharply. Did they mention why? Ransom politics? Ryla coughed. Maybe her birthright. Aria shook her head violently. I have no power. I am not heir. But the captain only looked away. Guilt written across her features. Before Aria could ask, a metallic thud echoed through the hallway, heavy footsteps. Elias pulled Aria behind him. We've got company, he muttered. Boarding fight. Elias raised his rifle, a Crimson Maw boarding. Squad poured into the corridor, armored. Brutes with scavenged tech. Laser fire lit the darkness. Elias shot 3 clean. Headshots in rapid succession and precise and cold Aria dragged. Captain Ryla behind fallen cargo, shielding her with trembling arms. The pirates kept coming. One tossed a thermal grenade. Down, Elias yelled. He grabbed Aria and shielded her with his body as the blast shook the ship. His armor absorbed most of the shrapnel. He gritted his teeth through the pain. A pirate lunged. Blade raised, Aria reacted without thought. Grabbing a fallen blaster and firing, the pirate dropped. Elias stared at her. Impressed. You're getting good at that, she didn't have time to blush. Just nodded, finally. Silence. Bodies littered the floor, smoke curling into cracked vents. But Elias was bleeding, his side leaking crimson into his shirt. Aria grabbed his hands. You are wounded. It's fine, he said through gritted teeth. We need to move. More will come, Ryla whispered. The dreadnought has... Your family human. Elias froze. What did you say? Ryla coughed painfully. We overheard pirates speaking. A human woman and child were taken alive. Still held. Aria watched Elias turn pale, breath trembling. His wife, his daughter. They were alive. Aria placed a hand gently over his. We will save them, she said softly. Together. His eyes met hers, and the fury in them melted into something powerful. Trust. A new plan back aboard the Nomad's refuge. Elias sealed the airlock. Captain Ryla rested in a med pod. Aria stood before Elias, voice firm. You saved me. Now I save your family. You're not a soldier, he argued. I am not weak either, she countered. You taught me that. He stared at her. The determination in her eyes left no room for debate. He sighed, defeated by her strength. All right, he said softly. We go together. But we play smart, Aria smiled, proud. What is the plan? Simple, Elias replied grimly. Sneak aboard the Maw dreadnought, rescue hostages, blow the ship to hell, Aria blinked. That is bold, he smirked. Humans like bold. A quiet moment. Before war while prepping weapons, Elias paused. Aria was adjusting her armor, designed for his size, slightly oversized on her. She struggled with a chest strap. He stepped behind her. Here, he murmured, tightening it gently. Her pulse stumbled. He lingered a second longer than necessary, hands brushing her shoulders. Aria, he said quietly. She swallowed. Yes, if I don't make it, she cut him off, fierce. You will. I won't allow any other fate. He stared at her, seeing not the timid noble he first saved, but a warrior forging herself in fire. He smiled, real, warm, brave. I'm glad I found you, he whispered. She tried to speak, but the words lodged in her heart instead of her throat. The enemy's maw, they approached the dreadnought. Cloaked, the colossal ship loomed like a floating fortress, bristling. With cannons and jagged armor, Elias pointed to a maintenance port near the engines. That route gets us closest to the brig. Aria steadied her. Breathing. For your family, she whispered. For all of us. Elias corrected, loading his rifle. The docking clamp latched silently. He opened the hatch and extended his hand. Ready? Aria took it, squeezing tight. As long as I walk beside you. Together they stepped into darkness. Cliffhanger ending. Set up for Chapter 3 alarms blared as they slipped deeper into the ship. Elias checked a motion sensor. Pirates. Closing in, he turned to Aria. No more. Running, he said. She nodded, eyes blazing. We fight. And as the doors slid open, revealing a flood of crimson maw. Soldiers, Aria took the lead, blaster raised high. Ready? To prove she was never the weak one. Their battle had only just begun.